ride malfunctions, freak accidents, passengers ignoring the rules, amusement park tragedies don't happen often, but when they do, you can bet it's close to what you've seen from the Final Destination franchise. Welcome back to another episode of Next Gen Top 10, where we give you a countdown of almost anything you can think of, from the best travel destinations to the weirdest America's Got Talent acts. Your entertainment is what we want. In today's video, we're counting down the top 10 freak accidents that happened in amusement parks. But before we start our countdown, make sure to like and subscribe to Next Gen Top 10 and hit the bell to get notifications of our latest videos. Ready? Let's begin. Number 10. Six Flags Great Adventure Park. The Haunted House Fire. One of the most tragic amusement park injuries surprisingly did not occur on a ride. At Six Flags Great Adventure Park in New Jersey, a haunted house caught fire on May 11, 1984. The attraction did not have a proper sprinkler system or any easy way out in case of fire, so the 8 teenagers inside all burned to death. Number 9. Disneyland. Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. You don't hear of too many accidents at Disneyland, the happiest place on earth, but they do happen. In September 2003, one man died and 10 people were injured while riding the park's widely popular Big Thunder Mountain Railroad. Things took a dark turn on the ride, which opened in 1970, when the open passenger train cars separated from each other and the coaster came off its tracks. Riders were trapped in their cars in a cavern as emergency personnel worked to free them. Investigators later determined that Disney staff did not follow proper maintenance procedures, which led to the accident. You can still ride Big Thunder Mountain Railroad today, though it has undergone some refurbishments since the tragic accident. Number 8. Disneyland. Roger Rabbit Cartoon Spin. Another entry from Disneyland. Changes were made to Roger Rabbit Cartoon Spin Ride after a 4-year-old boy fell from the moving coaster and became trapped under a car in September 2000. The boy suffered various internal injuries and brain damage and spent several weeks in a drug-induced coma after the accident. A settlement reached between the family and Disney ensured that the victim's medical care would be covered for the rest of his life, but he ended up dying 8 years later in 2009. Disney installed doors and added skirt-like bumpers to the coaster's cars following an investigation into the accident, which also found that the ride operator first called his supervisor rather than 911. Number 7. Schlitterbahn Water Park. The Verrückt Water Slide. This one is gruesome, so if you're squeamish, you have been warned. In August 2016, a 10-year-old boy died tragically while visiting the Schlitterbahn Water Park in Kansas City. He was riding the Verrückt, a 168-foot tall water slide that was certified by Guinness World Records as the tallest in the world. The boy was decapitated when the raft he was riding went airborne, causing him to strike a metal rod used to hold a safety net in place. 2 other passengers in the same raft also suffered injuries. Though the theme park's owner and the water slide's designer were both charged criminally for death, a judge later dismissed the charges, citing improper evidence. The water slide was eventually dismantled, but not until 2 years after the incident. Number 6. Dreamworld Thunder River Rapids. The Thunder River Rapids ride at Dreamworld, the largest theme park in Australia, was meant to mimic the exhilarating thrill of whitewater rafting. But in 2016, things took a turn for the chilling when 2 rafts collided, causing one to flip over and trap the passengers it was carrying. 4 people died in the accident, though fortunately, 2 young children riding in the raft somehow managed to free themselves and escape relatively unscathed. Theme park executives quickly decided to decommission the ride out of respect for the victims and their families. The entire theme park also temporarily shut down during a lengthy safety review and audit process. Since reopening, the park hasn't had any further accidents. Number 5. Six Flags Texas Giant. You can still ride the Texas Giant at Six Flags in Arlington, Texas, despite the fatal tragedy that occurred there in July 2013. A 50-year-old woman was visiting the theme park for the first time when she decided to ride the Texas Giant, a hybrid roller coaster that combines steel engineering with wooden architecture. During a steep descent, the woman was thrown 75 feet from the ride, hitting a metal support beam and then landing on a metal roof. She ultimately died from her injuries. Though the ride was temporarily shut down, it reopened after the theme park's internal investigation found no mechanical issues related to the accident, though they added new restraint bar pads and seatbelts. Six Flags also went on to settle a lawsuit with the family of the victim. Though the terms were not disclosed, $1 million was sought. The lawsuit included horrifying new details, including the fact that the woman held on for dear life before plunging to her death. Number 4. M&D's theme park, the Tsunami. As 5 gondolas on the Tsunami roller coaster came around a corner, they detached from the ride's rails and fell to the ground, striking the ride's infrastructure on the way down. Thankfully, no one was killed in the accident at M&D's theme park, though 9 passengers, mostly children, were injured that day in June 2016. The ride's claim to fame was that it was Scotland's only inverted coaster, meaning that passengers rode under the track, rather than on top. Most of the theme park shut down for several weeks following the accident, and the Tsunami ride was dismantled a few months later. The theme park owners were also fined £65,000 for health and safety breaches. Number 3. Great America, the Drop Zone. These types of rides are everywhere. After getting strapped into a chair with your feet dangling below you, you're pulled up to the top of a tower and released, free falling back down at top speeds. That was what was supposed to happen on the 224-foot-tall Drop Zone ride at Great America in August 1999 when tragedy struck. A 12-year-old boy died after he somehow slipped out of the safety harness and fell from the ride. The boy's mother filed a lawsuit soon after, saying, "You don't go to an amusement park and leave without your child. You don't leave without your child and then have to plan their funeral." Despite a robust and lengthy investigation, it's not totally clear what caused the accident. The ride remains in operation at the theme park today, though Great America did end up installing a safety strap on it. Number 2. Lightwater Valley Theme Park, Treetop Twister. The Treetop Twister was a brand new ride at Lightwater Valley Theme Park when a tragic accident occurred. The spinning ride, which took passengers through various tight twists and turns, had been open roughly a month when 2 carriages on the coaster collided, resulting in the death of a 20-year-old university student. 3 men were also injured in the accident. Faulty wiring, worn-out wheels, improper training, and the actions of a ride operator reportedly caused the crash. Despite the incident, the ride remains in operation today, under the name The Twister. This spinning roller coaster gives an awesome, fun-packed experience for all the family, with passengers boarding a strange waltzer-shaped ride car and heading on an epic ascent to the treetops. The coaster's description states, "Before we get to the top spot, we have some honorable mentions. Although these didn't result to any casualties, we believe that these deserve spots on our list because of how gruesome and tragic these accidents were." Honorable mention number 1. Six Flags, Superman Tower of Power. If you're squeamish, this one might be tough to read about. While riding a free-fall ride called the Superman Tower of Power at Six Flags in 2007, a 13-year-old girl suffered a brake accident that resulted in her feet being cut off. A cord got wrapped around her feet, which severed them from her legs at the ankles. Doctors were able to miraculously reattach one foot, but were forced to amputate the other leg below the knee. The ride, which pulls passengers up 177 feet before dropping them at 54 miles per hour, was later dismantled. Honorable mention number 2. King's Crown. What should have been a fun day at the carnival quickly turned into a nightmare for one Nebraska family when they boarded the spinning King's Crown ride. They were at a Cinco de Mayo festival in Omaha when their 11-year-old daughter's hair got caught in the ride's machinery. The family says she spun around, attached by her hair, for several minutes until her scalp pulled away from her head. The state's labor department launched an investigation into the ride, shutting it down during the process, but said it did not appear that the ride malfunctioned. This one may have truly been a freak accident. The brave girl has undergone several surgeries and says her hair is starting to grow back on one side. It's still not clear what happened to cause the horrifying incident. And now, for our number 1 freak accident that happened in the amusement park. Number 1. Lagoon Amusement Park Roller Coaster. It's simply called roller coaster, though it sometimes goes by the name White Roller Coaster. This wooden ride was built in 1921 and has been running at the Lagoon Amusement Park ever since, despite a handful of deaths and accidents. In 1989, a 13-year-old girl died after she stood up as the roller coaster crested a hill. She fell forward onto the tracks and was struck by 2 cars before plunging 35 feet to the ground. A 20-year-old man also fell when he attempted to stand up on the roller coaster in 1934, and a maintenance worker was killed in 1946 after he struck while working on scaffolding on the coaster. You can still ride the historic coaster today, if you dare. And there you have it, folks. We hope this didn't discourage you to visit theme parks. Which one do you think was the most terrifying? Let us know in the comments. Please make sure to like and subscribe to Next Gen Top 10 and hit the notification bell to get more Top 10 videos. Thank you so much for watching, and until our next Top 10 video.